Well, hello again, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome back out to the deck. Still Sunday, and I managed to get a bit of time so I can shoot a couple of samples with you. Today I've got a couple of Irish samples. One's actually sort of a re-review, still a sample, don't have the bottle, but we're going to look at, this sample was from Paul. Oh, he's such a gentleman. Thank you, Paul, for sharing your whiskey passion with me. This is J.J. Corey, the Gael Batch 2. So I'll tell you a bit about it, but it's got like a lot of detail I'll have to put in later. But basically, it's some single malt, some single grain, Irish whiskey at I believe 46%. And then this is the re-review. It's a Tyrconnell single malt. This one's finished in Madeira cask. It's a 15-year-old. And I finally opened it because when I first tried that Tyrconnell, it had a really weird potpourri note. See if I still get that. Here's a couple of samples. Why don't you pour a little Irish? We'll sip, we'll nose, we'll talk some whiskey when we come back.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me and for coming back out on the deck with me. As I said, this first one here, both of these are some Irish samples. It's what I have. I'm actually almost done all of the samples that all the generous people have shared with me. So I'll have to put my Sample Sunday on hold for a bit while that rebuilds. This first one here is from Paul. Again, thanks, Paul. This is the Gael Batch 2. 60% single malt, 40% single grain. As I understand it, the single grain is the younger. That's about 9 year. And the single malt is a variety of different casks, a variety of different ages, all the way up to some 23-year-old single malt Irish aged in, I believe that one, the oldest one I think is in ex-sherry. 46% ABV. So let's see what we get on the nose and palate of this interesting Irish composition. Boy, that's a nice nose. I mean, really nice. A little bit, I was going to say creamy. And I do say that often with noses. How do you describe a creamy nose? So creamy for me is, you know, I'm tumbling around some nice light toffees, nice vanillas, bit of a, not buttery note, but something that smooths it out together. But there is a little bit of light fruit, a little bit light fruit cocktail or light cut pear. Yeah, more expressive pear, more expressive cut apple, green apple. Light citrus, but just a hint. More kind of, I'm settling into that kind of green apple, and then some of that nice sweetness and creaminess that I was getting. Boy, what a fresh, nice nose. Let's try it on the palate. Cheers. As with taste, just first thoughts. Graham cracker, a little bit of ginger, cooked cinnamon, but really interesting buttered caramel, toffee. Wow. Very nice in the palate. Just beautifully coating. Vanilla wafer cookies. Light ginger snap cookies, like cookies. I don't know why I'm getting cookies, but either one of those. One, a little more vanilla. One, a little more ginger cinnamon. Coating, not peppery. Smooth, gentle on the palate. For 46, just delightful. Wow. Just wow. I recently participated, I was going to say sat through, that sounded like a labor of love perhaps, but I was fortunate enough to be with a number of great people and work through 12 Irish samples. This is just first thoughts, but probably the best of or as good as any other sample I had that night. It is really delicious whiskey. If this J.J. Corey Batch 2 is anywhere on a shelf near you still, like I don't even know where to find it. I've never seen it. I would run toward that. Really interesting fruiting. Still sort of sweet fruit cocktail, but I'm getting some really nice, put together spices. Like I said, that vanilla or ginger snap cookie, which means it's put together, it's crisp, but it's tasty, it's sweet. You guiltily have another one because it just is that good. Wow, nice sample, Paul. Thank you. Next one is from Andy. Again, Andy has actually given me 2 samples of this 15-year-old Tyrconnell. I like Tyrconnell Irish. This is a single malt, and it's finished in Madeira casks. So it's got age, it's got some cask finishing. Let's see where the nose and palate take us with this Tyrconnell. Much sweeter, a little bit of apple juice or grape. It really really expresses into fruity notes. Well, this is still sweet, but yeah, this has the balance of whatever that spicing is that I'm chasing, whether that's a ginger spice or a bit of cinnamon. I think more ginger. This is really very sweet, very floral. As I said, light grape, a little bit of potpourri. We'll see where this goes. Okay, on the palate, Sláinte. This is a bit more maltier on the palate. It's a bit thicker. It's a bit graham cracker, cereal, a bit of cracked pepper, a bit of spice. This last one, really almost no spice, but this for me, a little bit of spice, a little bit of pepper. Not a lot, but it's some. Let's try it again. At least it's got better backbone. The first sample I had at this went so hard into that perfumey potpourri note that it felt like I was, sipping on I don't know, rose hip perfume. It put me off. Thankfully, this is not. I like a little spice in my whiskey. I like a little backbone. This has more of that, a little more wood structure, a little more backbone. It is pretty good. It is definitely perkier or spicier, which is interesting for a 15-year-old. Quickly, just one more comparison back to this J.J. Corey. And I wonder, where did you pick this up? Little brown sugar, okay. Good news is this Tyrconnell 15 significantly better than my last sample. So I'm not sure why the last sample really played into like I was drinking perfume. This Tyrconnell instead, very fruit forward, quite sweet, a little bit of peppering. I like it. It's definitely a solid Irish whiskey and one I would definitely consider in this sitting. And it's always just first tastes or a taste in the moment. I don't take notes. I just pour and sip. For the first time with you, this J.J. Corey is exceptional. Like I really wonder, is it still available? Because this one, I'd try to find the money to pick it up. Thank you for joining me out here. I hope your Sunday has gone well. I hope the weekend has given you a little bit of recharge, a little bit of strength, because goodness knows we all need it to get through the work week. You guys take care.